Power and Leadership with me, Ryan Gomez. It's an absolute privilege and a plum pleasing pleasure to be speaking to you on 97.7 FM KC Radio. And look, like I said, you can jump on my Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Ryan Gomez Coaching. And you can jump on my, please feel free to leave us a comment. Give us a like, as a matter of fact. And that is the absolute key, isn't it? And what we endeavor to do after this program is in the next 24 hours, we'll put a podcast out there where you can listen to one of our podcasts as well. So we have, every week I endeavor to get some, some fantastic individuals on this program where we talk about leadership. We talk about the works and mentoring and coaching and online profiling and the works, as a matter of fact. So look, don't feel free to download the podcast in the next 24 hours or so. You can jump on my website, which is www.ryan-gomez.com, and download a podcast on there as well. Well, in saying that, like I promised this morning, we have another very special individual we want to be speaking to, and that is Renee Giarrusso, who is a communication and leadership expert and speaker, author, and a coach, which I've got to know over the last, I would say about 3-4 weeks or so. And it's great to actually get in touch with Renee, because Renee is actually going to be one of our speakers and presenters for the Next Generation Entrepreneur Summit on the 9th of March. So without further ado, I know Renee is up in Queensland. Without further ado, please help me welcome Renee to the program. Renee, welcome to an hour of Power and Leadership.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me on the show this morning.
Well, it's an absolute privilege and a pleasure having you on the show, Renee. And look, I know it's odd parts of the morning up in Queensland at this point in time, and you are in Queensland, right, at the moment?
Yeah, I am. I came up yesterday for some work and actually up getting a bit of balance up here today, catching up with a good friend of mine, which is good.
That is awesome. Look, Renee, let's so our listeners get an insight to who Renee is. Give us a little bit about your background and,
Yes, definitely. So I work with leaders, teams and organisations to go to the next level in performance. And I guess my journey and love for, helping people grow and go to that next level and realise their potentiality happened when I was in the corporate world, Ryan. I had 12 years in a large FMCG company, diverse roles, had some big teams and absolutely loved it there, but was really, really excited to share my insights and experience with the world and work with lots of different, industries and levels of leaders, which is what I've been doing now for the last 11 years. So I guess it's been, as with all our businesses, an evolution. I started off, really going into the ground level at job search training and then went into sales capability for many years. But the last 6 years has really seen me working with, thousands of leaders and teams around targeted communication, leadership, and helping them understand what motivates themselves and their teams, because I think that's imperative in any role.
Absolutely. Now, Renee, like you said, you've been in the corporate world over many years, quite a number of years now. What made that shift? So, what was the shift to say, hang on, I've been in sales. You said you've been a sales leader, as a matter of fact, and say, what made that shift to say, okay, now I want to take the next step and go into, or take a further step and go into helping individuals in building on their leadership skills. So, what was that shift?
Yeah, for me it was a personal journey. While I was there, I was doing a lot of study around NLP and, I did my coaching practitioner. And I just got to a point where, as we all do in our businesses, we have amazing leaders. We have leaders that I call gifts that we can learn a lot from.
Yes.
And it really was a realisation. Probably 12 months before I left, I always knew I wanted to do my own thing. My father was an entrepreneur and I think it is in my blood. But it was a snap decision as far as I've got to leave now or I'll never leave, because I really did love it there. I just think I was at a point where I had a friend say to me, Ryan, Renee, why are you doing all this study on the side? You've got a great role. And I knew, if I was really happy, I probably wouldn't have been doing as much of that.
Absolutely.
And I already, towards the end, had a few coaching and mentoring clients, and I was obviously doing that in my job. But I just think it was time for me. I'd given a lot, I'd learnt a lot, and I was ready for that next chapter.
Amazing, isn't it? Where life takes you in different paths, and sometimes it's not probably the right path. And a lot of people say to me, you know what, I'm too young, I'm too old, and it's a bit too late. And I get that all the time, isn't it? But it's never too late to do anything in life, as a matter of fact, isn't it?
It is, and I think you've got to be. I call it. You've got to be brave and embrace what I call unknown change. I think so many people live in a comfort zone and with a bubble mindset. And I can't tell you how many people I actually work with as clients that are like, I'd love to leave, or I'd love to write a book. And it's like, to me, my big word in life is limitless. I think anybody can do anything, and it's around knowing your why, I guess, and but really believing in that and having a laser focus to achieve that.
Absolutely. Spot on, Renee. So, Renee, in regards to the work you do, you said limitless leadership. Is that something you coach people on?
Yeah, so my practice is really diverse, as I'm sure yours is as well, and really interesting. So I work with probably 10 to 12 leaders per year, one-on-one, and the rest of my time is professional speaking and running tailored workshop programs. So one of our signature programs is our Limitless Leadership Pathway, where we take leaders on a journey from early stages right up to SLT level, where they really get to resolve the people problems, balance and leverage their leadership, and go from what I call the overwhelm of a management mindset to an effective leadership mindset to take their teams and their organisations to the next level.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's really good. So you run workshops so you're based up in Melbourne, are you?
Yeah, I'm based in Melbourne. We run workshops in Australia and internationally as well. I've been doing a little bit of work in Asia, and to support those workshops, because I just think there's so much out there that becomes an event, and you can run a great day and people leave and nothing happens. So we run mentoring and coaching in between our programs. To embed learnings back on the job. We get people to buddy up with accountability buddies within their team, to break down the silos that we see a lot in the corporate world and in small business.
Yes.
And we also run quite a few other workshops around EQ and understanding motivation and teaching leaders actually how to coach at a very high and proficient level.
That is fabulous. That's fantastic, and what you do
keeps me out of mischief, but I love it.
Well, it's anything that empowers people, and that's the most important thing. And you get a lot of fulfillment from that as well, isn't it? You start to learn so much from people as well.
Yeah, and when clients thank me, I always thank them because as you would know, every person has so much to offer and so many different things to offer that a lot of the time I think we get caught up being human doings and not human beings, and we don't even know our own possibilities. And that keeps me going and really I'm high energy anyway, but it really feeds my energy seeing other people grow, and then I can be in service to continue to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to touch on this. And now, we talk about leadership all the time, and this is probably an overrated word with leadership. Leadership. So to you, I'm not putting you on the spot here, but to you, what is leadership? What is leadership to Renee?
Yeah, beautiful. And I just want to say I agree with you. I think the word leadership's a bit of a buzzword. People do understand it, but to me, leadership is not a position, it's a choice, and it's all about communication, what I call cut-through communication. If you're communicating clearly and really getting to know and grow the people in your team and your peers, you can't go wrong. And I think it's about I published a book last year called Limitless Leadership, a guide to leading from the inside out. And that's all about three-dimensional leadership. So I think people can be a leader even if they don't have a team. And the three dimensions are you need to be a leader of self before you can be a leader of others and influence decisions. So I've attracted actually a lot of entrepreneurs, Ryan, or people starting out that say to me, I don't have a team, should I do anything around this topic? And I'm like, well, you need to self-lead.
Yes.
You need to know what lights you up, what gets you going. You need to know your trigger points. You need to know if you've got emotional control or not. So, yeah, leading self before others is imperative, and I think it gets missed a lot in the cluttered landscape of the business world.
Absolutely. And, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you on that all the way. And, you see people all the time, and you see leaders all the time, as a matter of fact, call themselves leaders and trying to enforce their leadership skills onto someone else, or say this is how we do things. And it's important that, and to me, I'll talk a little bit about myself. And then when listeners have heard my story in the past, I've authored a couple of books, and in saying that it took me a good 10 years, almost a decade, to work on myself to be able to do what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
so that is the absolute key in order to get out there and get a message out there. You need to work on yourself, isn't it? That is the key.
Oh, that is the key, and I love that you've said that because it often gets missed. And you know yourself, I'm always continually learning and studying, and I think what I see a lot of people come into, I guess, the thought leadership world, but going, I want to do this and give this, but your cup needs to be full before you can give and contribute to others. And I have a thing, really, to be in service to others, we need to know who we are, and I think it starts with that. Unfortunately, a lot of people go from a management to what they call a leadership role, as you said. They're still managing, they're in the day-to-day. They're not getting what I call leadership balance, which is really around, leveraging self and growing themselves, managing activity and leading people. And they tend to just get stuck in that managing activity piece.
Absolutely.
And I always say to them, in a year's time, what have you done that the person before you didn't do? And if they can't answer that, then it's like, hey, how cool is this? We've got an opportunity to take this to the next level.
Absolutely. And attitude plays an important role, isn't it, in all this?
Oh, motivation and attitude is 65% of your predictability of success in a role, Ryan.
Absolutely.
65. Half of my work is all on motivation and attitude, half of what I do. Because so many people, you'd probably agree, so many people are amazing at their jobs, but they're not happy.
Yes.
And when I ask them, do you love your job? They'll go, I'm really good at it. And I'll say, but do you love what you do? And they'll go, I'm the best at it.
Yes.
So it's around helping them identify what their capabilities are, but what they are actually good at that they enjoy. And I think you can have capability, you can have the capacity, you can have the confidence to excel in your role. But if you're not doing what I say puts a pep in your step as much as you can and satisfy that, not just manage it, you're not going to be productive, fulfilled and on purpose. And therefore, your team are like a sponge. Your team are a mirror of your leadership.
Absolutely.
So it's imperative, that you get that right.
True. And, I was looking at a research I think it was last year sometime. I was looking at a research and it said that, organizations were asked this question. They said, if you had one thing in your organization you'd like to change over the next, couple of years, what would that be? The one thing that you would want to change. And, the study had come out and they said over 95% of organizations said this. I'm trying to think of the study, but where this article was, I'll probably put it on Facebook sometime.
That'd be good.
And 95% of organizations came up and said that if it's the one thing we wanted to change, is the attitude of our people. And attitude, and it's like you just said, it's absolutely imperative to be able to have a great attitude. When your attitude is up, your bottom line your results go up, and
that's right.
Attitude's down, it's vice versa, isn't it?
It's so true, and it's to me, it's like I always use the sort of metaphor analogy of a firework. A firework has everything within it to ignite it. And if people, you're not driving what motivates people, it lies dormant. And I think a lot of people too will say, I know what motivates my team. And we actually do a lot of profiling with an amazing tool and language and behavioural questions to work it out. Usually people know what motivates them at an unconscious level, but they don't satisfy it. They manage it. They go, I know what motivates me, and that's it. Whereas, I know for me, Ryan, in my day-to-day, and as you would know, we do a lot. We write, we sell, we think, we blog, we mentor, we coach, we train. It's endless amount of skill and attitude and energy that you need. For me, I'm energised by, doing things like we're doing now, being in front of clients, being in a room,
yes,
writing a workshop. I'm good at that, but it doesn't light me up. But I know I need to do it to be able to do the things that do motivate me.
Absolutely.
So I make sure I don't spend a full week in the office writing a workshop, or I'll do it in between things, and it keeps my energy up because I'm aware of that.
And that's growth again, isn't it? It's constantly working on yourself, and that is the key in this day and age. If we look at individuals these days, is we need to constantly keep growing, and that is the key to leadership. Again, coming on to leadership, it's learning from people, and
that's right.
And it's also the environment around you, which also affects you. And in order to achieve what you want in life, as a matter of fact, you need to look at the environment around you. You need to look at the influence around you. Make some bold choices, make some bold decisions in order to achieve greatness.
That's right. I love that word too, bold. I think it's bold and brave. It's the only way you'll have growth, and it's got to feel uncomfortable, because if it didn't, nothing would be changing.
Absolutely. Now, in saying that, you are one of our presenters and speakers on the day, the 9th of March, for the Next Generation Entrepreneur Summit. And look, it's going to be an exciting event. And a lot of many individuals ask me, hey, hang on, this is an event that would be pretty much up there, which would be running up in the CBD. But this is the whole idea, is to bring these events into the local suburbs, where it's important that we bring it out to the local suburbs. And look, on the day, 9th of March, you're one of our presenters, going to be presenting. So what would our audience expect from you on that day? On the day, I've decided about what is the key thing, whether you're in a role in a company or you've got your own company or you're about to start out. What is the key thing that you need to ignite that and get it going? So my talk's all about being brave for change and understanding your motivators and that of others. So I'm actually going to do a very interactive, highly dynamic talk where you're actually going to get some insight into what gets you going, what your hot buttons are, and how to tap into that to leverage your success in role or business, because I know we're going to have some amazing people in the audience and lots of diversity. So it's going to be highly interactive. Everyone's going to walk away with things they can actually apply in their business or role, and also with their clients, because as we know, communication and cut-through communication, we have our internal clients and our external clients. So it'll give you some of the tools and just different thinking and methodology around going out there and making sure where you can, you're doing what is going to bring out the best version of you in your role or business. Wow, looking forward to that. Absolutely. And look, please jump on board and register yourself and grab yourself a seat for the Next Generation Entrepreneur Seminar, where you have Renee there. Renee will be there with 4 other speakers on the day. So it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal event. Jump on board for this Entrepreneur Summit. Now, Renee, look, thanks for being on the program. It's an absolute privilege having you on the show. And I know you have a lot happening on this weekend, right?
I do, and thanks for having me. I just love technology. Isn't it great that we can chat like this?
Absolutely. It's 7:30 in the morning up there? Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, with the time difference and everything. Though I've been awake since 5, but it's all good. Yeah. I have my coffee. It's all good.
Not a problem. Thank you, Renee. Thanks for being on the program.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Thank you.
There you have it, Renee Giarrusso on the program on 97.7 FM, KC Radio, on an hour of power and leadership with me, Ryan Gomez. What a great insight to Renee's story and in her success, as a matter of fact, and she's gone through. And look, these are the caliber of speakers and presenters we have on the 9th of March for the Next Generation Entrepreneurs Summit. So grab your seat, jump on board, and that's the important thing. And look, you can grab, you can register yourself or you grab some tickets by jumping on my Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Ryan Gomez Coaching. I'll say it again. Or if you just Google Ryan Gomez Coaching, that's RyanGomez Coaching, one word, and jump on the Facebook page and register yourself for the Next Generation Entrepreneurs Summit. And look, I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of the some of the locals out there in the city of KC, as a matter of fact. So jump on board and support the event. And also, look, if you have a business, as a matter of fact, taking your career or your startup in business, or taking your your personal life, or you want to help build on on your career, as a matter of fact, this is pretty much the summit for you, which is the Next Generation Entrepreneur Summit. And I'll just quickly point out, we have people like Bikramjit Singh, who is, a global phenomenal entrepreneur with 15 plus businesses around the globe, flying into Melbourne, Narrewarren, as a matter of fact, to speak on the day. And look, we're going to speak to Bikramjit Singh next week. We'll endeavor to get in touch with him. Odd hours, we'll get endeavor to get in touch with him and have a conversation with him. So we've pretty much, we've spoken to every presenter and speaker on this program over the last few weeks, and insight to what they would be presenting on the day. So look, jump on board. I'll say it again, jump on board. Phenomenal event on the 9th of March, the Next Generation Entrepreneur Summit. As a matter of fact, I have the 2-for-1 early bird special still going, as a matter of fact, for limited time. So this would be the last weekend for that. If you want to jump on board, grab yourself a seat and get another seat as a bonus. So bring a friend, a family. There you have it. You tune into 97.7 FM KC Radio on an hour of power and leadership with me, Ryan Gomez. It's an absolute privilege and a plumb pleasing pleasure to be here speaking to you on 97.7 FM KC Radio. Now, it's please feel free to jump on my Facebook page and leave us some comments on, that is www.facebook.com/Ryan Gomez Coaching, www.facebook.com/Ryan Gomez Coaching. And I always say this, and before I close, I'd like to say this. It's never the circumstances in life that determine the person we become or not. It's never the circumstances in life that determine the person we become. We have circumstances all around us, as a matter of fact, but it's always the choices we make in our life. Choices we make today will determine who we become 5-10 years from today. This is nothing new. You've heard this time and time again, but it's important you take action on this. And you see individuals in life, you see some successful people in life, people like Renee we just spoke to. It's the choices she's made in her life over the last 5-10 years that has got her to a point where she is right now. Choices I've made in my life 5-10 years ago have got me to where I am right now. So it's important we make choices. And don't get me wrong, we make wrong choices sometimes, we make wrong decisions, but the absolute key is to make a decision, make a choice, and run with it. And I talk about the torpedo effect when they launch torpedoes and the torpedo hits the water. It goes from it tries to find its target, and when it tries to find its target under the water, it comes to this rock formation, and it circles this rock formation, thinking that's the target. There's an intelligence built into this, and it's amazing when you watch this program. It's an intelligence built into this torpedo. It circles that rock formation for a few seconds, and then it realizes, hang on, this is not the target, and then leaves that target and goes after its target. It goes after its target. It sees this massive, humongous whale, and then it circles this whale, and for a few seconds, when this intelligence system built into it, trying to figure out, is this the target or not? Is this the target or not? Hang on, this is not the target. It realizes it's not the target. It breaks the attack and goes after its target again. Goes and it finds a school of fish and it circles a school of fish and it goes round and round, the school of fish, and realizes, hang on, this is not the target, and this breaks the attack and goes after its target. Finally, finding its target and destroying its target. Now, it's a great analogy to life as well. As a matter of fact, and we hear people saying, hey, this person has gone from one thing to another. He or she is unstable. They don't know what they're doing. They're not sure what they want to do. But I say this. I take a different approach to that when I say, be like that torpedo. Be like that torpedo. Go after your target. And make a decision, make a choice, and go after that. And you go after that, and you find out that is not the target. That is not the target that you've been, or you want to, or the success you want to achieve, or you're not going to achieve something from it. Go to another target, move to another target. Make a choice, make a decision, and move to something else. And find out, ultimately find your destination, or find that true, fulfillment in what you want to achieve, and work on it. And that is the absolute key. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. You tune into 97.7 FM KC Radio on an hour of power and leadership with me, Ryan Gomez. It's an absolute privilege and a plumb pleasing pleasure to be here speaking to you on 97.7 FM KC Radio on an hour of power and leadership. I hope you've been enjoying this program over the last hour or so. It's always been a privilege and a pleasure speaking to you on this program. Look, feel free to leave us a comment, give us a like, as a matter of fact, and always, like I said, don't shy away from leaving comments on my Facebook page. Feel free to leave a comment on my Facebook page anytime, as a matter of fact, and that is the absolute key. And look, we've come to the end of the segment. That is it for me. It's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure speaking to you on 97.7 FM KC Radio. Well, until next time, I'll see you right over the top. This is Ryan Gomez signing off for now.